Okay, so yeah, thank you for joining me today. And today I'm going to share with you the weekly news. The first one is on thedrone.com, and the title is called Huge Opportunities for Brands in Virtual Reality. Just don't call it the metaverse yet. Okay, so as for virtual reality, we know that just because of the global pandemic and all the lockdowns, people start preferring to switch their direction from the physical world to the virtual world. So right now there are a lot of companies, they are already have a lot of virtual reality or augmented reality experience just for their customers to interact through their apps and have more branding interactions. For example, like right now there's a company called Roblox. This is a game platform and it's targeting like gamers, online gamers. And right now they are creating like more like a VR stuff for people to or like create some cool 3D virtual games for brands to interact. And also Gucci, right, and other companies, they have like AR filters for the customers to try before you buy, right, to kind of use the AR filter to see the product before they purchase. And also, I find out this is a very interesting feature. There's a company called Arizona Iced Tea. They recently bought a very interesting NFT. If you don't know what NFT means, it means that non-fungible token. Non-fungible token pretty much is kind of like, using the technology and make each art piece a unique kind of virtual items. And then if you want to purchase it, you need to use cryptocurrency. So pretty much use blockchain technology to make sure each virtual art or digital art is very unique and you own it. If you own it, you can use it in the digital world, and you have 100% of ownership of that piece. So this is kind of like the beginning, I would say, the beginning of the metaverse. If you don't know what's metaverse means that the world, right? Imagine like Matrix. The difference between Matrix and metaverse is that Matrix, it seems like God made the world, right? And there are a lot of multiple universe or parallel universe, right? And those stuff, because it's kind of like outside of our knowledge, but we kind of feel like there's something out there, right? So I would say that part is supernatural or something that is outside of our knowledge and made by creators, right? But metaverse, similar to Matrix, right? Metaverse is made by human, right? It's all the digital information, and we are trying to create another world or a multiple virtual world on top of this real world. For example, if you wear a VR headset, right, and you see another world, right, even though you're physically in this, I am in front of my desktop, right, but if I wear a VR headset, I can directly just see the entire different world. So that's the metaverse kind of like a feeling. So NFT from the Board App Yacht Club. So pretty much Arizona Iced Tea is buying the entire app called the Board App Yacht Club. Pretty much if you go to the site, BAYC, if you go to BAYC, the site, pretty much inside their system, they can generate a lot of different types of APE, like, the monkey stuff. But those are looks really cute and really interesting. So if you purchase one, use, cryptocurrency, if you purchase one, and you will forever own it, right? And because it's made of, or like it's, you can buy it through the NFT, this types of technology. So you are 100% on this digital assets, which is very interesting. Also, also, I would say that right now the brand is still doing the early adoption. Before, we have a lot of different types of economy, right? But right now, if we are going to enter the metaverse, then the economy type will be owner economy, which means that everyone is the owner, everyone is the boss. Imagine like gamification, right? We all talk about in metaverse, everything will be gamified, right? So in gamification, everyone is the hero of inside metaverse, and everything is designed for you, right? So even you see the art through the blockchain technology, right? The art is specifically you own it specifically, and you are unique, right? And everything is user-centered, player-centered, right? So owner economy. Before we have like shared economy, right? Because you see Uber, right? Uber is shared economy, right? A lot of stuff we share, right? Because millennials, we love, share stuff and kind of like get the experience. But the next stage will be the owner economy, which means that people own things and people, like gamification, everyone is the hero, right? So yeah, I feel excited about the next generation and the next phase of the economy, which is very, very interesting. So as for, I think in this article, it talks about, in the future, what will it be? Because everyone is kind of like, predicting the future. The interesting thing is like one person predict that not just one company on the metaverse. It should be a lot of different stores, right? They hop in, hop out. It's just like a mini or like a bigger version, virtual world, right? And then every store, everyone has the access, similar to you play an online game, right? Like Call of Duty. You have one IP, right? And that IP storage everything about you. So it's like a virtual identity, right? And you can use that virtual identity to go through different shop, right? And in this article, it kind of has the vision, talks about, for example, if I bought a banana in this game, I supposed to, I can eat in another game, right? Right now, it's impossible because each game is in its individual system. But in the future, maybe there's a barrier can be broken out, right? So everything, for example, I purchase something in the virtual world and I can bring in the real world. So you can take something through different virtual world and, you still own your own IP and your IP is crypted, right? It's really safe. So yeah, so this is kind of like the ideal metaverse, right? So it's kind of like the virtual world built on top of this world. And game, what's game about? Game is to make you happy, right? So the reason why people, want to create a metaverse is because we want to be happy and happier, right? I don't like, because a lot of future movies talk about metaverse. It's all scary and sad and a little bit of craziness, right? People feel a little afraid about unknown, but I think as long as we keep exploring, maybe some rainbow and unicorn will happen. So yeah, so I think it's very interesting to see all these ideas comes out and start shaping the metaverse. Okay, so metaverse means meta means mega, right? Like big. Verse means university. So it's like a lot of different layers of universe or real world. And in Magic Leap, like long time ago, a few years ago, Magic Leap thinks that, for example, we are living in the physical world, right? And on top of it, there are different layers of information. So pretty much metaverse is the metaverse means that different universe of different information. For example, maybe there is a one universe called entertainment, right? If you go to entering that use portal, entering that metaverse, you can see everything entertainment. Or another layer is medical, right? You enter to that layer and you will receive everything medical, right? So yeah, it's very interesting, and people start concept it and start executing it. So yeah, we still don't know what the metaverse will look like, but according to this article, it says that probably right now it's just beginning. If we want to enter to the real metaverse, it probably takes at least 10 years. So yeah, so any thoughts for the metaverse or anything you want to share? Feel free to unmute yourself and yeah, and share your thoughts. Stephanie or Brian, any thoughts? Yeah, you can unmute yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Stephanie. Oh.
Hi. Yeah, this is really interesting. Everything that you explained, it's a little bit complicated for me, so I feel like I need to read into it a little bit further. But it's exciting to see just the possibilities with creating a metaverse for our world. I'm curious as to your thoughts of kind of what you've explained. Like, what do you think? What can you kind of, or what do you think of some of the possible like negative implications from that, and like what possible things could be put in place?
Yeah, sure. I would say that in metaverse, the most important thing is, I don't know, some people don't care, but some people do care. It's your information, right? Because since everything is digitized, right? Everything can be tracked, right? For example, start from your eyeball, where you look at, right? Everything you will be known, right? So how can you stay anonymous, or how can you stay, in the position where you feel safe? Because sometimes, it's a little dangerous. For example, if someone wants to do something and they have all your information, for example, if you are a celebrity, right? And if you are in metaverse, and if all your information is being tracked, right? So it's kind of a little dangerous, and you own a lot of properties in that digital world, right? So decentralized. So that's why you see NFT comes in, right? Yeah, so decentralized is important because in the digital world, you see in physical world, right? It's hard to really own something since we have a really good regulation, right? We kind of like have some regulations to help us to structure this world, the physical world. But in metaverse, imagine right now it's all big companies. They are structuring, right? And everything you upload belongs to them, right? So yeah, so this is a very interesting part that to the virtual world. You see, like when we start this physical world, there's no company or not many, it belongs to country, but not a big company trying to selling stuff and selling your, we are not like, this world is not belong to big companies, right? But in the future, the world might belongs to the big companies, right? So how can you protect yourself if you don't want to, reveal too much? And, it's very interesting to see like the privacy issue, data issue. And also, you see like cryptocurrency. Right now, recently I read like Economist, right? The magazine. I read some articles. in this week, they have an issue and they talk about the decentralized, like a bubble or down to rabbit hole, right? Because we all think that, oh, cryptocurrency might be the next thing, right? A lot of people kind of jump in at the beginning, and they are young kids, right? They don't know what's that, and they bought some Bitcoins, Ethereum, and they got a lot of money and become millionaire, right? So those types of things kind of urge people to start, buying more, even though nobody knows what's that, and they just buy it, right? And right now, the first country to use Bitcoins as their official currency is El Salvador, right? It's kind of like I forgot the name, but it's kind of like that types of sound, like a country. And then the interesting part is that recently I saw a news that the resident or the citizen of that country start burning their ATM because everything was chaotic and people kind of complaining about using Bitcoins to be their currency. So like right now there are still a lot of stuff. For example, if you use Bitcoins to buy a house property right now, and the police can kick you out because Bitcoins doesn't really have a lot of values still, like in the law, right? So there are a lot of interesting things like, does Bitcoins really worth that money? And whatever you purchase it, because if you purchase a lot of digital generate like NFT, like some digital format crypt art, are those really valuable, right? It's very interesting, like a lot of questions, right? What if your identity being stolen, right, inside metaverse? And in metaverse, still the hardware is not achieving to the comfortable state that people like to wear it every day, every minute, right? So so I would say there are still a lot of stuff to improve, but I believe that once we start doing it, we find a lot of problems, we start revise it, everything might be getting better and better. So that's my thought. Any thoughts?
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so so anything you want to say, Brian? Or
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Just the whole idea of NFTs is very interesting into that, and he's been like buying NFTs and kind of just explaining the whole thing to me. But it's cool how it seems like it really is the gateway to people owning virtual. The opportunity with NFTs are just, it's all very such a good opportunity, especially in gaming and stuff, and how like people spend so much money nowadays on like cosmetic items like in games, and you don't really get anything from that. Like you just spend the money and it's gone. But like the opportunity with NFTs to spend money in a game and then like own something, I feel like has like huge value, and I can just see how that can like take off. But yeah, I don't know, just all also new to me, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I totally think that for example, like I play this game, right? I play Assassin's Creed for a few months, at least 5 months, and it's a never-ending game. And I sometimes wish that if I can bring something from the game to the real world, then I will be happy, because I find out I spend so much time in playing the game, and I won so many glories and so many badges and saved so many lives, and nobody knows. It's just me, and I was happy in my own world. And you know, sometimes the thing that you put in the metaverse or digital world, it couldn't bring the experience to the next world, right? So that's very interesting that in the future metaverse, right, you know, for example, I play some stuff in here and I can take the skills or take something and from this game to that game or to the real world or to the virtual store, right? So yeah, I don't know how it will happen or how it will go, but I just feel excited to see everything comes along. Yeah, so yeah, we still don't know how everything will construct or how everything will goes, but yeah, as long as we keep doing it, right? And imagine in the future, like Elon Musk just sent a bunch of non-astronaut, right? Like 4, right? To the space, right? And he said that his goal is to send people to Mars, right? Imagine the trip to Mars, it takes around 6 months, right? Just the one way from Earth to Mars is around 6 months. And then those 6 months, what will you do, right? Entertainment only, right? You are in the spaceship, right? And you couldn't go anywhere, right? You couldn't like just get out of the spaceship. You have to be on there and sit there, right? So for 6 months, then the only thing you can do is entertainment. And when you arrive Mars, what can you do, right? Because I think NASA is sending out, or SpaceX, they are sending out a bunch of robots to build the you know, the buildings right now, right? So when you arrive there, what can you do, right? Entertainment or working or, you know, something, right? So I would say that if metaverse build, it's probably not just limited on Earth. It can be, you know, cross planet to another planet. So that's what I'm thinking. It's kind of like a metaverse, I would say, is the human imagination for another world, right? Matrix is more God-made, right? You couldn't control, and it's something that outside of our definition of physics, right? So that's something that we don't know, but we believe that exists. But metaverse that we can control is the way that we build in a digital form. Right? So yeah, so that's the first news. And the second news is our ARB news, ARAB news, ARB news. Okay, so yeah, so the title is called Pakistani scientists bring new hope to dementia patients through virtual reality. Okay, so as for dementia, we all know that the world is aging, right? There will be more and more elders in the future, like including me, like after 10 or 20 years, I might fall into those categories. So yeah, so as for dementia, the reason why, according to this article, it causes dementia is because, our brain is start not connect well, or there's some part need to be more stimulated to prevent dementia. So through virtual reality, they find out that they discover that the environmental enrichment is one of the strongest protector facts against cognitive impairment induced by aging. So which means by putting elders into virtual reality, it can kind of use the power of environment enrichment to help them to reconnect or stimulate some part of their brain, for them to kind of help them to repair or stimulate their brain, so to prevent dementia or to cure or to help they boost their brain. So I think this is very interesting, because for virtual reality, I like to see how we can use it, because technology itself is not either good or bad. It's the way that how human use it, right? In a good way or a bad way. So I think this one, I think it's pretty good because we have a lot of problems. And if we can solve it, use some technologies, I think that really helps us to, to do something and to improve something in our life. Yeah, any thoughts for the news? Yeah, you can unmute yourself and feel free to talk.
I feel like the applications for all different types of therapy with VR are just like endless. Like if you think about people with PTSD or people that suffer from anxiety, I feel like there's so many applications that could be helpful. It's also interesting to think like putting somebody like with dementia like into a setting like that. Like I wonder what the studies would be on that, like whether that like could potentially scare them or like how like it would affect like different people. But like I never thought of that application. That's a pretty cool thing to think about.
Yeah, I think, as for VR is more cognitive, change the environment. However, as for AR, it's more for commercial, right? It's more for branding engagement. Yeah, those two, people always say, oh, AR, VR, right? They put them together, right? But the application you can use are, I would say, a lot different. VR will be more focusing on the immersive, right? Change people's behavior, more psychology part, medical part, and a lot of something, for example, like once you change your environment, right? And then your behavior will change, or by putting you in an environment, right? For example, like American military, according to some articles that I read, it seems like they are right now having contract with Microsoft, like I think $21 billion. I forgot the real number, but it's a huge amount of money. What they are going to do is to build really immersive military games. And that simulation is so similar for the soldiers to go, I think the officer said that they want to train their soldiers in the virtual reality place or MR or VR place versus putting them to the real battlefield, right? Because you see, like in VR, they are absolutely safe, right? And it can save the stave fee, right? Imagine training a bunch of soldiers. You need someone to train, right? It can save it, right? Also, it can save the gunpowder, and it can put people in the safe zone. And it also can track the performance, right? You can see your score and you can re-practice again, right? You can play it again. So yeah, and in the real world physical battleground, you couldn't do all those, right? So the military officer kind of wants all the soldiers to at least play 21 military games before they actually go to battle zone to just do the training. So virtual reality can do a lot of dangerous training. For example, like firefighters, policemen, right? All those stuff. If you train in real world, it might cost you and it might put someone's life in danger, right? So yeah, so all those can really help people and, save the cost. Also, be safe for people to be more safe in the safe zone. So yeah, and AR is more like, I would say, branding, marketing, selling stuff, right? Because you can see the real data overlay on the reality, right? On the player or the user's reality. It can make the buyer feel more owner, like owning that product before they even buy it, right? So I would say that AR and VR is very different, and VR usually used for a lot of training, dangerous training, doctor training, or psychology or some mental treatment, brain treatment, so behavior treatment. So I think it's very interesting to see those two, even though people put them together, but actually they have different paths of application. Yeah. Okay, the third one. Oh, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no.
I had a comment if we had time.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that, I thought this was like a really interesting article, and especially during the time of COVID, patients who live in, say, facilities or nursing homes, they're very isolated, and that they've been seeing a decline in people's functioning as well. So this could be a really useful tool to have patients interact like with family through VR in a variety of different environments, or be able to practice like their daily tasks that they're having trouble with to help stimulate them, or even like possibly to be able to return to relive past memories that they have as well. It could help them just like prevent their decline. And when you were talking about, and when Bren was talking about just like different disorders, like PTSD and whatnot, I thought there was thought of this company called Limbix. I think in the Bay Area, they created this VR headset for people with like, just different phobias or PTSD that exposes them to just the things that they're afraid of through exposure therapy. And I think, if I recall, in conjunction with just like coaching as well to help them face their fear safely. So I thought that was, really cool.
Yeah, I think, VR can definitely help people and make sure that, like we can feel more safe, or we can have some, because by putting people in the virtual world, and that virtual world is really, really similar to this real world, and people will totally change their behaviors and cognitive, all those types of, I would say, change our brain. So so VR, is more heavy use, those part, and AR, I would say, is more for commercial or more practical use. For example, like, some constructions, or some, some interesting ways of, using 3D, or using the data overlay the real world and solve the real world problem, or some branding, marketing, the way they sell things, or keep the user engaging. Okay, so let's talk about the third news, the last news. It's called Emirates launches new virtual reality experiences. So I saw this news, very interesting. Emirates just launched what it describes as a first airline virtual reality app. And it allows customers to explore the cabin from the comfort of their home. So, which means that if you go to the website called businesstraveler.com, and the title is called Emirates launches new virtual reality experience. So in this article, you can pretty much click the link, and you can pick, if you click the link, the title will say the Emirates fleet in 3D. So you can browse the entire experience on your website through WebXR. It's called WebXR. So which means that the website, you can see the 3D experience by just clicking. You see, like if you see it, you can see by clicking some dots, you can see the entire airline in front of you in the 3D mode, and you can click each, interact point, and you can even see the screen, right? And you can see each entertainment on the screen, and you can see from, different, like different seat. And I think it's very interesting for the user to interact in the immersive way. And also they launch Oculus VR app. So pretty much you can download the Oculus VR app, and you can sit from home and pretty much get yourself inside the Emirates airplane, airline and then start enjoying the virtual tour. So I find this is very interesting because they both use WebXR, which allows people, if they don't have any VR headset, they can still enjoy the experience. But if you happen to have a VR headset, like Oculus VR, then you can wear it and you can enjoy the whole experience. Yeah, I think, yeah, if you happen to have your computer in front of you, you can go to this site and then start clicking around and see the interaction. Yeah, cool. Any thoughts for the news? Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself. Cool, cool. Yeah, and yeah, you can pretty much even see the first class. Okay, yeah, Brent, do you have any?
Yeah, just the whole idea of virtual tours, like now that you've got me thinking about that, it just feels like there's so many applications for that could like be really cool. Like art museums could have like virtual like tours where you could like pay money and like, you know, do like a little tour and see like different forms of art, and like you know, buying a home, like there could be virtual home buying and stuff, and like I don't know, just it's so interesting.
Yeah,
and it really probably helps the customer really decide like whether they want to actually like buy something or not. Like, and if you can immerse that customer in a 3D world, they're probably so much more likely to understand like how, you know, the actual space that they're like looking at. You can actually understand distances and like what things look like so much more than like a picture. You know, if you're like apartment searching and you go into like apartments.com or whatever, it's like you're looking through an apartment, you have no idea like actually how big a space is by like looking at the pictures, because they make everything look like bigger with like a fisheye lens and stuff. And so being able to actually be in that environment would probably just make you so much more willing to spend your money on something.
Yeah, I totally agree, because yeah, before I ran a place and I saw the picture, I thought it's big, but unfortunately it was super small in Santa Monica. And now I start to realize that, yeah, virtual tour is very, very cool, especially, you know, if it is immersive, right? I can pretty much stand in the place and totally feel one, like the real world size, and everything is real in front of me, even though it's 3D model. But it really helps me to measure or to feel like whether I want to purchase it or not, right? So yeah, so thank you for joining me today, and so I had a good time, because usually it's me talking to myself for all the news, and usually takes me like 20 minutes. I can finish the whole thing, but I really enjoy like you guys join, because you know, because we can talk more and more ideas bouncing around, and we come up with something cool, and you know, we all help each other grow. Because for me, I don't think anyone is a real expert here, right? Because for me, XR or AR, VR, MR, metaverse, whatever you want to say, the buzzword, it's growing. So yeah, so we are all learning. Everyone is students here. So yeah, so hopefully see you guys next week and we can all grow together. Okay, so thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.